Welcome to Empowering Moments. This is Toria Renee, aka Coach T, and you are listening to Empowering Moments with Coach T right here on IntellectualRadio.com. I have an exciting show for you guys today, but first, let me give you a recap of what we talked about last month. So, we talked about preparing for change. And here's a few pointers on how you can do that. Realign your mind with your heart so you can be peaceful and make the transition to commit to change. Number two, be willing to step out into the unknown, even though you can't control the outcome, knowing that if you do your very best, it will all work out in your very best interest. Whenever you find yourself in a situation that you didn't ask for, try to see the positivity in the situation. Practice seeing the glass half full. And last but not least, actively manage your emotions and actions to the best of your ability so that you can always be in a position to make a clear decision and think things through in all situations. Okay. So if you missed it, I encourage you to watch it. I encourage you to catch the replay on the very platform you are listening on right now. I am a personal growth and mindset change coach, and I am here to help you gain the insight and clarity that you need to become the very best version of yourself. So if you are struggling with embracing change in any area of your life, I want you to call me, text me out, hit me on Facebook. I can help you walk through that. Book a session with me today, and I will tell you how a little bit later, okay? This is Empower Moments with Coach T and on intellectualradio.com. And I want to get right into today's topic. Today's topic is going to be um, mental health, dealing with mental health. And I have actually a life coach that I'm going to bring on today's show. And we're going to talk about mental health coach, life coaching as a profession. Okay. So we'll explore why managing your personal health is important. And we'll talk a little bit about the differences in how men and versus women process and manage mental health. Today's guest actually resides in South Florida. She has been a she Florida. She has a master's degree in social work, and she has been a social worker for the last 8 years. And she is now also a mental health life coach. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Miss Bree Joseph. Put your hands together. Yay, Miss Bree, Miss Bree, Miss Bree. And do we have a picture of Miss Bree up?
No. Hi.
We should have a picture of Miss Bree up. Thank you for joining us today. We definitely are glad to have you. How are you
Thank
doing?
you. I'm good. I am good. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to get right to it because we got a lot to unpack. Okay. So, how about tell us a little bit about what mental health actually is? Because I think that we all have different views or different ideas of what mental health is. So explain to us what mental health is.
Well, mental health is the well-being of your cognitive function, your cognitive thoughts, your behavior, your emotional state. So what we would look at the norm, okay? You're thinking right. You're able to dress yourself a certain way without assistance. You're able to feed yourself without putting it in your eye or putting in your nose. You know where to bring that. You know, your behavior is not disturbed where one day you can be severely depressed and the next day you can be very manic, you know. So it's just being in a state of homeostasis. So that's where the mental health comes into play.
Awesome. So make sure that you differentiate what the difference between social work and being a mental health life coach.
Sometimes people contact me because I'm a mental health life coach and they have severe mental illness. So I have to remind them that I have some mild chronic disorders, but you can function. So mental illness is more of a disorder of your behavior, disorder of your emotions. So anything that will disrupt your mental health state, and it results in impairment where you can't function well. You may not be able to go to work well. And some serious ones may become so erratic they maybe want to kill themselves or kill someone else. They're just a danger to society. So as a mental health coach, I like to ask people, the severity, or have they even gone to a therapist? Because what I don't want to do is have someone think they can come to me, because a lot of people are afraid of the word therapy or psychiatrist because they don't want the stigma associated with mental illness. So they like the word life coach, mental health life coach. And I always have to educate whoever comes to me, any potential clients, and let them know, if you have signs of severe mental illness, I would have to refer you out.
Okay.
So I work with mild mood disorders. Or symptoms. I work with grief, someone who's mourning, and helping them get back to a state where they can cope with that of an illness, and how, like, for example, severe, where the person cannot think straight, they cannot function, and they're ready to harm each other or others, or they're trying to take their clothes off in the street. When it comes to something like that, that's a severe mental illness.
Okay.
And I don't work with those individuals because in my background, I have, and social work I was a mental health and substance abuse group and individual counselor. So I see in those cases that, I'm not going to take someone money because you need more care. I can't help you because I'm not dealing with that.
Absolutely.
I'm dealing with the health and not as far as the illness that's severe. So I've had bipolar people lock me up in a room thinking that I was, their ex-wife. Yes.
Wow.
I have that, in social work and doing my group therapy, where one of my clients came in during break and shut the door. And the funny thing is, my back was facing the door, but
help.
while he was standing there, I just sensed something wasn't right in the room. You just feel like you're not alone.
Right.
And I turned around, and lo and behold, he was in front of the door, and he shut the door and started yelling at me for wanting to give him a divorce. So,
wow. So yeah, you have to be careful. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the other question that I have, because you mentioned, have you asked, one of the things that you ask is, have they actually seen someone, or are they have a mental illness and maybe not?
Cultural beliefs, okay, many cultural taboos. Many people don't want to believe they have a mental illness. And a lot of time when you have a mental illness, you have it. Like someone that's schizophrenic or bipolar, they don't know they're schizophrenic or bipolar unless, they've been diagnosed by a doctor and a doctor explain it to them. So when you see them walking up and down and talking to themselves, they don't know they're talking to themselves.
Right.
So I do explain it. I've had case where someone contacted me for anxiety, and I was speaking with this person, and throughout the interaction, I don't think you have mild anxiety. Have you ever been diagnosed with OCD? And she was like, oh yeah, I've been diagnosed with not severe cases. And when I do stuff like that, I always like to refer out. You don't want to just leave someone just hanging. Coaching that I'm doing to take advantage of someone's money and feel like, okay, I'm not going to give them the proper treatment, because mental illness is very serious.
And we're here to help.
Yeah, we are here to help. And even with my social work degree, even with that can be affected.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, if a family turn around and say, hey, I'm going to sue you for X, Y, and Z, I can't say, oh, well, I was a life coach. So no, because I'm governed by NSW, and they can come in and say, well, regardless to if you abuse individual and group therapy, I loved it so much. And I decided to branch out, and I went into hospice. And that's where, I developed my skills for grief. And I love that also, but I missed the individual. I missed it so much. I missed the group so much. And I realized I used to help so many people. So that's where the thought of the mental health life coaching came into play. But I do remember I used to work with severe cases. My cases weren't mild at all. And I do remember that I really had a lot of support at that time. I had a call button. If somebody, spazzed out, I can push something and someone would run into the room.
Right.
I had staff who were close by who can come in and assist. And because of that, I said, you know what, I want to take the mild road,
right.
just in case if someone just starts to act more bizarre than
So I think that one of the things that we definitely need to do is to make sure that we don't put ourselves in harm's way as we attempt to help people. And it's really, really good that you understand what the boundaries are in saying, okay, it's going to be just me on the life coaching side. So I'm not going to, I don't, and right now I don't have this full staff. So I need to make sure that I am safe, but not only that you're safe, but you need to make sure that they're safe, because
of
if
course.
they start acting erratic and anything could happen to them, and then now you're responsible. So I
Of course.
think that is a very good thing that you understand, and you compensate for those things as you continue to give that service.
Yes. And at the end of the day, everything is file proof. You just have to do the best you can. Those are just preventative measures. A lot of things are not avoidable. You'll find people, even when I used to do individual therapy, I would have people that talk to me so normal. And I'm like, are they sure this person is, schizophrenic? This person is smart. This person has a bachelor's degree. This person is alert and oriented times 3. And probably like a few weeks later, then I would see the new face. So sometimes, someone can slip through, but you just try to minimize as much as possible.
So now let's get to, so you mentioned something that is really, really key. You said they showed you the new face. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get into that in a little bit later, but we're going to put a pin in that. But I want to make sure that we address what you mean when you say they showed me the new face. So we will talk about that a little bit later. Okay.
Okay.
What has been one of the biggest challenges that you've faced stepping into the coaching arena?
Okay, so like every day you discover something new, right? So one of my challenges when I first decided I wanted to do mental health coaching, I was labeling myself a life coach.
Okay.
And I would go to people and I'm like, hi, I'm Bree, I'm a life coach. Hi, I'm Bree, I'm a life coach. And people would, okay, good, and walk away. People wouldn't ask me, people wouldn't ask me questions. It's like, or it would be like, oh, you're one of those trying to get people money and this, that, and the third. And I was like, man, what's going on? Like, is it not popular? But then my own experience with other life coaches, I came to see how many of them, and I'm not saying all, but my experience, many of them were very pushy and aggressive, and they did seem like they were just business coaches, business oriented. They just want their money, and I'm going to do this for you in 8 weeks, and I want X amount of money and X. So when I saw that, I said, you know what? I have to identify or tell people what type of life coach I am at first. Because if I'm just saying life coaching and they have a nasty taste in their mouth or they've had a bad experience, they don't know what I'm here to help for. So I started using the word mental health life coaching. And I find that made a whole difference where people would say mental health, what is that about? Or are you working with crazy people? Or, okay, I don't want to go to a therapist, but this sounds like something I might be interested in. It. Can you tell me more? So just the name change, the mental health would have people stop and ask me, what is that about? So a lot of my challenges came from just saying life coaching, life coaching, life coaching.
And that is so true. That is so true, because I had that same issue when I first stepped into the life coaching arena, and I kept saying, oh, I'm just a life coach. I'm a life coach. And no one understands what that really means. But when you put context to it and you differentiate yourself in the profession and you say, oh, I am a personal growth or mindset change coach, or I
Right.
am a mental health life coach, or I am a bereavement life coach. Now people understand why they need to contact you. They understand what it is
Exactly.
that you really, they understand what you focus on. And once they understand what you focus on, they get to decide whether they're interested. And whether they're interested depends on whether that's what they think they need help with, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
what they think their friends need help with. So it's important to differentiate who you are.
Completely. Okay, so some people feel that if they worked on something and it didn't go right, then they failed. No, you didn't fail at all. It's like a science project. That was a hypothesis. So
To read one of my ads today, and hopefully my picture comes up on the screen. So this ad is for a clothing line, and it reads, "Are you the queen of your empire? Check out the latest building My Queendom apparel today." And you can go to www.bluden.org. So you want to access that product page and search crop sweat BLEUDEN.org. So you want to access that product page and search crop sweat.
same way you can go out there and buy toys and put some battery and the battery run out.
I was just talking to my friends about developing habits. And, of course, they always say it takes 30 days to develop a habit. But what if you don't actually do the task for 30 days? Because we say, oh, it takes
years. What if I can't balance? And you might start at first and wiggle a little bit, but then you just get it because the brain is like, oh, I know this.
I remember how to do this. I've done this before.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is the same way. And that's so true, because I don't ride a bike just necessarily, but when I hang out with the kids sometimes, and my cousins or whatever, I'm out there with them, and I'm the big kid. I'm the proverbial kid when I get together with my family. So I'm the one out there playing all basketball and shoot. I do some of everything with them. I climb trees. I play double dutch. They don't know nothing about double dutch because this new generation don't be like, what? Who? Double what? What is that? Is that? I'm sorry. What is that? What do you use to play double Dutch, as you call it? It's a rope, little girl, but they don't know. And so I still get out there and I jump double Dutch. I show them how to turn the rope. Okay, now I'm double-handed, but hey.
Yeah.
But I know how to turn some rope, right? But and so even at 46, yes, I'm 46. Even at 46, I'm not afraid to tell my age because I know I look real good. So while all y'all women looking at me like twisted right now, listening kind of twisted because I'm telling my age. I'm telling my age because I'm proud of my age. So yes, even at 46, I still know how to do some of these things that I did when I was a kid, and that goes to memory. So I'm saying this to you guys so you guys can, I'm putting it in perspective. I'm letting you guys see how it plays out in everyday life, even though you don't think of these things happening in your life. And so I like the fact that you talked about rebooting yourself and taking that time. So the way I understand it, mental health is all about making sure that we tend to ourselves, that we take time to care for ourselves, that we take time to be in tune with ourselves, that we take time to understand who we are, how we feel, what we think, and be present in our own body, in our own mind, without having influences or outside influences that aren't necessarily to our best interest or in our best interest or on our same page, and as far as what we want to do, who we want to be.
I like how you said that too, because when mental health can be something simple as letting go of a toxic friend or family, or even a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Absolutely. And I think that we don't equate that to mental health, though. We don't equate that, which is why I think in a lot of instances we hold on to people and places and things that don't serve us. We hold on to mindsets that don't serve us.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, but that's a part of your mental health too, because as long as you have these toxic relationships in your ear influencing what you do and what you say and how you live and how you think and how you speak and what actions you take, then that's having a negative effect on you. And those are the things that
Exactly.
stress you out, right?
So, so in the mental illness world, right, we have something we call folie à deux, or we would say shared psychosis. And that's where someone can manipulate you to doing something that you shouldn't do, and you start to believe the way they do. You know, like the Washington sniper.
Right.
Oh, a good example, like the Bonnie and Clyde situation, right?
Exactly.
So where someone is more stronger than you mentally, where they have their psychosis and they can get transferred to you. So it is very important to be aware and to purge certain people out, because it is for your mental health.
Absolutely. I love that. This is you teaching me something that I really, really didn't think of it in these terms, because I don't think I thought of that as mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's one of the other things that I wanted to talk about. So I believe that, maintaining mental health is to purpose to be resilient and know that you can weather any storms. That's a part of mental health to me, to build yourself up to a point where you are able to maintain, where you're not moved and swayed and pulled into different directions. You have a clear
Mm-hmm.
concept of who you are, who you want to be, where you want to go, and what you want to do. And so
Mm-hmm.
one of your mantras I know is to never give up. And so tell us how you encourage your clients to keep striving. I know you talked about, I always tell them don't give up, but how do you make them understand how important it is for them to hold on to their tenets, and to hold on to their tenets and to keep pursuing what they believe in? How do you make them know and feel like that is something that they want to do? They're psyched up to do it. They're encouraged to do it.
For one, I just let them know that you don't have to conform to society. So what may be the norm to us doesn't have to be the norm to you. See, a lot of people are holding on and want to be successful, and want to do a lot of things because there's pressure in their environment, there's pressure in their society. You know, women pressure where, oh my gosh, I want to have a kid, I'm going to my 30s, I want to have a kid. It's not normal. Well, according to whom? According to society? According to
Exactly.
society, that a woman that's 30 something years old without a child or not married is not normal.
Please
That
speak to
can mess with
that.
your mental illness too. That
Yes,
can make you feel depressed. That can make you feel less than. So
absolutely.
when people come to me and they're telling me this is going on in my life, before and I like to write things down because I'm putting things in order into what we're going to work in. But before we put stuff in order into what we're going to work in, I have to ask you to be honest with me. It's just me and you. You have to be honest with me, because
Definitely.
do you really care to accomplish everything that's on this list?
True transparency and
Because
vulnerability is key in
exactly,
coaching.
if you really care to accomplish everything in the list that makes you feel less than, we're going to put them in an order of what you want to work on, and we're going to start working on them. But if you don't want to, and you give me a list of 10, 15 things, and 7 of them you really care for, and the rest is what your mom wants or what society says you should look like,
Absolutely.
well, guess what? I'm going to throw these rest in a garbage can, because that's part of your mental illness. That's what's affecting your mental health right now. You have 7 things you care about on this list, but there's 15 in total. Well,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you're, you're going to be upset. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to
Yes.
develop some form of OCD. You're going to have some form of discomfort in your mental health, because it's so much stuff to accomplish and you really don't care about all of them.
And you know what? I had a client that actually was going through this very thing, and she had all of these things that her mother would be telling her that she had to do. Leave. Be clear. You can say it out of your mouth if you want to, but if your mind,
They can think about and you don't even know. That's the one who's probably angry, who's probably anxious, who's probably scared, who's probably not sure even what universe they're in. Okay, so now
right?
you have to deal with that personality also. But those are in a sense of schizophrenic, right? But then you have what we also call personality disorders. So for example, someone who would be antisocial personality disorder, and again, there are mild cases. I don't work with personality disorder because I feel like they need more help than what I can offer them. But when you have someone with a personality disorder, such as antisocial, a lot of times we look at those people as the psychos, what people would want to call them, right?
Right.
We look at them as probably the dangerous people because they know how to look like what society wants them to look like. They know how to conform. They know how to play that role until it may be too late for you. They're very charming, very supportive, very caring. And then if things don't go their way, then there's a different face to them.
And this is really what I wanted to make sure I get to, because people have a way of showing you who they want to be or who they think you want them to be in order to be in your space for whatever ulterior or motive or intention that they have. And we have to learn to identify the mask versus what is for real. And I think sometimes we have that issue. And I wanted to talk about how that relates when it comes to men versus women. So is this something that men do more than women, or is it something that women do more than men, or is it equal, or is it individual? Does it not have to do anything to do with man versus woman, but is it the person? I just want to make sure I understand, because
I would say that anyone can do that. Anyone can be trained to wear a different mask, okay? But of course, some studies show that men are more prone to antisocial behavior, antisocial personality disorders. Okay, so that it's hard to see the signs, but the signs are there.
So tell us what some of the signs are. Tell us what some of the signs are, real quick.
Okay, so for example, someone with social personality disorder would definitely be charming. They're very charming. They're very supportive. They're always around. They always know, oh, do you need this? Do you need that? They play the ideal good guy role, right? And we know no one is perfect, but they try to be this perfect person, dress a certain way, look a certain way, talk a certain way. But sometimes you can bring the true them out. And one way you can do that is doing things that someone with antisocial personality disorder, would be triggered by. And some things may be dressed in a certain way. You with this person who always looks nice, and he wants you to look nice, and today we're going to meet my family or my friends, and I'm going to dress differently, and that anger snaps. And it's like, whoa.
Wow.
Where did this came from? Like, we could have had a regular conversation. You don't have to yell. There's a look in their eyes. There's that shift in personality, them trying to get back to normal because they don't want to be exposed. And a lot of times they try to eliminate their competition.
Okay, ladies, let me okay, are y'all listening? Because I think I'd have met this dude about 5 times in about 10 times in my life, for real. Wow. I'm flabbergasted because I didn't even know this was part of a disorder. Just school me today, Miss Bree, okay? School me today. You are changing my life. I just want to tell you, I appreciate it.
I'm going to tell you this. Everyone can get caught. Like, for example, if we're going to go dark, right? Let's go dark into someone like Ted Bundy, right?
Okay.
Do you know the story of Ted Bundy, right?
I do.
The serial killer, the serial rapist. So one of the ways he was able to get many of his women was by being charming.
Yes.
And also playing the victim. He normally had a cast on. Oh, I can't carry my books. Can you carry my books for me? He had crutches. Like, he put effort into the person he was going to be just to get what he needed.
Just to get what he needed.
But then when you hear certain people that was around him who weren't affected by him tell their part, they're like, yeah, we saw little stuff, like the way he'll look at you. You know, he had that creepy look, or he'll spaz out for no reason and try to control himself. If someone is having difficulty in battling them, don't care, you know, and you're like, hold up, but the other day you were buying me chocolate, you were buying me this, you're buying that, there's a problem. If someone's punching walls and they weren't doing that, and all of a sudden you're like, where's this attitude coming from?
Yes.
There's a problem. Let's not forget gaslighting. They're professionals at gaslighting.
So
they're professionals
explain gaslighting right quick.
You feel that you did something wrong.
Yes, well, turn around on you.
The reason I'm acting like this is because you did this. You did that.
Baby.
You shouldn't have done this, and I wouldn't have punched the wall. You shouldn't have done this, and I wouldn't have gotten mad.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yes.
I know.
They're talented.
They're talented. Yes. That's a nice word. They're talented.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start using that, Bree. Oh, these men are talented around here. Okay. So we are actually, that is so fun. You have really, really enlightened me today. I have for actually being a guest on my show today. We are getting down to the end of the show. And so I want to get to some closing remarks. So, Bree.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to someone who is struggling with maintaining their mental health?
Well, for one, like I said, some people don't even know they have a mental illness. But if it's a mental illness, or you just feel like I'm burning down, I'm getting tired, look for these signs, right? I'm sleepy all the time. You may go to sleep at 8 p.m., you're getting your 8 hours or even more, and you're just tired. You dread doing certain things, you know, you don't want to get up, or you're having blackouts. You're having blackouts, or you're seeing people that's not there, and you're not going to know that they're not there until someone says, who the heck you're talking to?
Absolutely.
You understand? So you look at signs and don't be in denial. I believe, and this is not the truth, but I believe that many people who have
I'm sorry, Bree. What happened?
They lie to themselves.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? We kind of cut out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. They lie to themselves. Okay, they said this is not really happening. Oh, I can handle this. Oh, I can work these extra hours, no problem. But then your body is breaking down. You're not eating right, or you're overeating. You're not sleeping right, or you're more lethargic than usual. Your body is telling you, I'm tired, and you're ignoring it. You're hearing things, and no one else is in your house, and you're telling yourself, oh no, this is not really happening. There's nothing wrong with being assessed for mental illness. There's nothing wrong with saying maybe I need a break. The thing is, there's a negative stigma, a stereotype associated with mental illness and how someone's mental health should be. And if you do not...
Bree, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been an awesome pleasure. I hope you guys have learned a lot. I sure have in this hour. So thank you so much. Again, this has been Intellectual Radio. Hang on a second, because I'm gonna give out some information. Tell the people how they can connect with you.
Well, you can go to the number one, not spelling it, but the number one, Transitioning Mind, for my Instagram, for my Facebook, and Twitter would be One Transitioning M as in mind. That's where you can find it.
Got it. And this information is going to be in my descriptions, so you guys will be able to find this information and connect with her. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to and connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at I Am The Coach T, LinkedIn and YouTube at I Am The Coach T, Toria Renee. You can also email me at IamTheCoachT@gmail.com. Today's guest and advertisers info will be on my social media platforms. This has been Empowering Moments with Coach T on IntellectualRadio.com. And remember, I am the Coach T, and just be you. Say bye, Bree.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.